Welcome everyone to our second presentation of Mi Camino al xito. If this is your first time joining, gracias. We are a nonprofit organization devoted to promoting and providing resources and mentorship to individuals of the Latino community in Metro Atlanta and empowering them to pursue higher education. This is part of our Mi Camino al xito series, which is our webinar series project that features professionals from different fields sharing their stories, challenges, and struggles to inspire the next generation of Latino leaders. So with that said, I'm Sofia Vasquez, an Emory University student majoring in psychology and Spanish while following the pre-law track. The demanding of nature of pre-law coursework is the reason we have the esteemed lawyer, Mr. Goico, today. Mr. Goico is a distinguished professional with a strong academic foundation and an extensive legal career. He earned his undergraduate degree from Cornell University and subsequently obtained his law degree from the Emory University School of Law. And then in 1999, Mr. Goico took a significant step in his career by co-founding the prestigious law firm of Goico Bolet, PC. And it is now my honor to shift our focus to our distinguished keynote speaker. Without further ado, I invite Mr. Goico to share their insights in their field of expertise.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk with you guys. It's an unusual situation for me because I seldom enjoy discussing myself. I find people more interesting than myself. Most of the times I'm asking questions. I want participation. I know that there will be a question section at the end of this talk, but for me, the community is such a vibrant community, growing by leaps and bounds. Even today, I came into Georgia in 1992, and it was just beginning to blossom. But I want to begin this conversation primarily and first to be very thankful for the individuals that are taking their time. Specifically Ricardo Ramos, that has taken the time to reach out to different individuals. I know Sophie as well has reached out to me. And this cannot happen without that motivation, without that focus. There's nothing extraordinary about me. It so happens now that you're looking at a guy with a lot of gray hairs. I'm almost 55 years old. I graduated from law school in 95. Nothing happens by a mistake, or if you don't put that energy behind it. And so I want to begin this conversation with you guys by saying, I'm an average Joe that so happens to have had the privilege of tremendous education, and being thankful to Ricardo and Sophie and to the organization for putting this together. If somehow I create some degree of motivation for anybody, I'm more than happy to do that, but that would be part of my surprise as well. If you draw any benefit from this call or from this meeting, that would be a tremendous benefit to me. And continue in your paths, all of you. I want to begin with who I am. And yes, that's me. Many moons ago, I had a sailor's outfit, which was my mom's favorite outfit for me. I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic. I came into the US at the age of 18 years old. But describing the Dominican Republic, what it is today, is really, oh, the beaches and they're doing this type of activity. It is a democracy, been struggling with a lot of challenges, including its neighbor, Haiti. We'll discuss a little bit about what I did as an immigration lawyer. Even though there was a lot of friction between the Dominican Republic and Haiti, one of my first efforts were doing political asylums for Haitians in the US. And it was received not as happily because I'm a Dominican. I'm supposed to somehow hate my neighbor. I'm an American. I'm supposed to hate or challenge my neighbors to the south, to the east, to the north. No, for me, it was a tremendous experience to understand challenges, not only the ones that I lived as a Dominican, but also as the Haitians. I would not be anything, and if my language skills are not up to par, I will tell you this: my parents are the key to my success. My father was a lawyer, is a lawyer actually, he's retired. I'm listening to some echo in the back, but my father is a lawyer, he's retired. And my mom was an executive secretary. She worked for the central bank. My father sat me down one day after fighting different fights civilly. He was a civil attorney in litigation. He says, Manuel, that's my middle name. I wanted you to understand something very important to me. You can be whatever you want to be in this life. I know that you have a good brain. Whatever you do, just don't be a lawyer. Yes, Dad, I will never be a lawyer. Lo and behold, about 7 years there, I was graduating from Emory Law School. But my parents were only one portion of it. My uncles are everything to me. And as you will see in this picture, my uncles were 5 uncles. My mom is on the right side of this picture. She was the only daughter with 5 brothers. And that is my grandparents in the middle and also on the far side picture. I kind of remember when I look at this picture, I think of Lucy and Enrique and Ricardo. Well, they're from that era, a little bit before that. And despite their background, they take great pride on having a large family and do the best that they could. But this is something that my grandmother did for me. Even though she had her home and had all of her children, when we grew up, and there obviously her kids were adults, she would come and live with us, even despite having her house, and imparted on us tremendous wisdom. Her goal was for us was always get the best education that you can get. It doesn't matter whether you're going to a community college or a prestigious university. Whatever you can do, get the best education because they can get out of you or they can take away from you everything but what's inside of your brain right there. And that's your education. And if this is so basic for you guys, this is just how my formation and how I really was brought up and was propelled into the US as well. So her focus is in education really resulted on this factor. When my grandfather got sick, and he got sick at a young age, you won't be able to realize, but in the picture on the left, he had some heart issues. She was able to run his business, and that was almost unheard of for a woman at that time. It just tells you the type of temperament and dedication. She basically helped raise all of their children without the help of her husband because of his health condition. Along with being a businesswoman, she also reminded us, even as kids, you gotta be involved in your community. Education was one part of it, but you cannot ignore what's happening around. My country has tremendous poverty, not only on the Haitian side, but on the Dominican side. She began different organizations to help the needy. And even today, people that are multiple generations are benefiting on some of the things that she did in the past. And they needed to be significant things. They didn't need to be, wow, I'm doing this. And by the way, look at me, I'm doing this great. The more you do and the quieter you do, the quieter that you do it, somehow has a way to transform your community. And that's what you're looking for. You don't look for somebody to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you did this. This is tremendous thing. By the way, my eldest daughter, who is graduating from Cornell this year, has her name Dinora. That's what she meant to me. And when you have a good family around you, all you need is one person that shows you unconditional love. And that is rocket fuel for you, rocket fuel. And it was for me. That is my circle along with my father. And that's what allowed me to take the next step. And as we go through this presentation, I try to do it quickly. You will see that I'll go very quickly through my background, and this is where I went to school. This is not an exercise to tell you, oh, I'm great, look at where I went, or this is a tremendous path. Every individual has a different journey. Every individual has a different journey. And you're building up your skill set to go to the next step, not only for your own benefit, the benefit of your family and your community as well. But what I want to end up towards the middle of this presentation is to give you 3 or 4 core ideas or suggestions that I carry with me every single day. There are many more, as my son would tell me, Dad, you can't talk without giving an example. That's how my brain works. So if you hear I'm giving you an example, that's how I explain things and how I live things on a daily basis. My short journey based on education, I had the privilege to go to a school that was supported by the embassy in the Dominican Republic. The U.S. Embassy is called Carol Morgan School. And I was given the benefit of watching and experiencing the world just in the Dominican Republic, because it had different sectors of social economic, but also had a lot of the consulate and embassy children from China, from Japan, from different parts of the world. They went to the school, and it gave me a tremendous opportunity to understand that the DR, my little piece of island where I lived, was nothing, that I needed to really explore what was outside of me. And that opportunity, I was in my junior and senior year, I went to a program called the Hugh O'Brien Youth Foundation, which is an organization that they select individuals across the world, and they bring them into a center in the US for about 2 to 3 weeks at that time, many moons ago when I had black hair, and it's still a junior or senior in high school. And they just shared with us what it took to be a community leader, how to lead by example and with your work. And it opened my eyes that even though I was in a little island, I could really make a difference. Why was I selected? Somebody up there was watching out for me. I'm not an exceptional individual. I work hard. I take pride in my work, but I keep quiet and let others shine. And that's for some reason, I was given the opportunity to participate. To that degree, that work and what I was involved with my school, and I won't focus on my accomplishments in the high school. I was able to get the support partially from Cornell and partially from my parents to make the trip across the pond, as they say, or across the Caribbean Sea, to go from a very tropical island to Ithaca, New York, where 3 feet of snow was regular issue for us. What a change for me. What a tremendous opportunity to share or continue to share all the different experiences that I had, not only in high school, but also in Cornell. I was studying industrial and labor relations. If you are drinking coffee of one of the major organizations or companies, I won't name the name, and you have seen that there's some challenges of union busting. That part of that education in Cornell was a combination of business, labor, business, economics, and law. And it prepared me like nothing else, challenged me. I thought I knew everything. I was the last Coca-Cola from the desert, I thought, when I left out the Dominican Republic and I was going to this big university. I just realized I'm one of the bunch and I need to catch up and learn fast and move forward. And that's what I did. Graduated, and it walked me into this exercise. Anybody that's listening to this call may know that when you're coming into the US as an international student, which I was not a resident, not a citizen. I had an F1 visa with an I-20. So I'm graduating from Cornell with an I-20. I had a practical training, which is a year that you get after your I-20 F1. And so I decided to go to Buffalo, New York to serve as a paralegal. I found an ad, and the ad said, we need somebody that speaks Spanish who can handle hearings for disability cases. What? I can speak Spanish? The job is for me. So I knocked on the door of legal aid in Buffalo, New York, and I told the director, I'm your paralegal. And the guy looked at me and said, what are you talking about? I'm Dominican, I speak Spanish, I speak English. I want to participate in these hearings. Funny enough, back then, still part of the law now, you don't have to be a lawyer. You can be a representative that is trained to do types of disability hearings. What is that? They trained me to represent people that were disabled so that they could get their SSI, types of benefits, and SSD. I loved it. I loved it. I had the ability to somehow convince a third party to help this person that was sitting in front of me with physical ailments, some of them mental ailments, all sorts of issues, understand what the condition was, brief it. And I had the opportunity through school that I thought that I was a good writer. And so I put these briefs together and I got a lot of summary judgment decisions on them. There's nothing better that without uttering a word, your document can be compelling enough to get a positive decision on a case. I won't tell you that I was a great orator at that time. That opportunity came through law school. But at that time, I could write. What I could add to it as I spoke 2 languages, whatever my qualifications were, the legal services gave me a shot, and I was able to represent these individuals to the degree that that opened for me the idea that I needed to do the LSAT and apply to Emory Law School. Emory Law School was a growing institution back then. That was 92. I was probably one of the first Hispanic students that they received. When you're talking now about Emory, their development and approach towards Hispanic students across the board, not only in the medical school, not only in the law school, nor in the regular university, was then a growing concern. They were reading the tea leaves, but I was one of the few Hispanic that was accepted to the university. At that time, everybody was excited about the Olympics. Here, allow me 2 seconds. My glory days. I'm a black belt in judo. I don't practice judo since about 35 years old. I would never get into a fight. But at the same time I had law school, I also had the Olympics happening, and I was able to qualify for one of the trials. I got beat badly, but at least I was given that opportunity and my country supported me in that effort. And I felt that it was such a tremendous opportunity for me to do that. But the law school gave me an education that really formed me, really set me on the right path for a myriad of reasons. Back then, the law school was not divided in tracks, meaning you couldn't do a transactional track and then kind of litigation. You had to do it all. You had to do it all. And it gave me such a formation, such a background that I felt that I could really do the litigation, do the transactional work. I had the employment background in me. I could do the briefs. All I needed was an opportunity to participate in moot court. I did. I was not the top team, but I was able to create a Hispanic moot court team, and we made it to semifinals that year. Nationally, Hispanic moot court. That was a developing part of it. I also realized that there was something missing from the law school. There was no Latino Law Student Association. And there may be people listening right now and say, hey, yeah, I know that that exists. If the law school, I say this humbly, kept good track, you will find my name, as one of the founding members of the Latino Law Student Association. Why did that happen? Because it didn't exist. Even though there was an African American or a Black student association, there was not a Hispanic or Latino Law Student Association. That helped put Emory on the map, at least from our perspective. Goico, you didn't do anything. I put myself into the place to the benefit of the school and for my benefit, because the school gave me tremendous education. And when I went in, I reached out to the person that is on the bottom left. The guy that is talking is some guy with black hair. That's me. The one to the left is Chief Justice Benham. That's the Chief Justice of the Georgia Supreme Court at that time. And the next one is Dean Hunter. He came to me and said, look, I know that you don't have the resources. We're going to give you a partial scholarship as well. And that helped me fund my education at Emory. That picture to the right of my picture, with the left of me on the podium, there's another guy. His name is Albert Bollet. He has been my law partner for about 27 years. And we didn't meet in law school. I'll tell you the story very quickly in a minute. But with him in the future, after I graduated from law school, the two of us formed the Hispanic Bar Association, an organization that has seen tremendous Hispanic leaders, including the leader of the Bar Association, Mr. Del Campo, was one of the past presidents of that organization. Also, tremendous immigration attorneys, civil litigators, trademark counsel, those individuals that are of Hispanic descent, Latinos, a lot of them have been prior presidents of that organization. And that began with a dream of having our representation. Our first meeting, you guys may not even know what this is. We had to fax the invitations to the other lawyers so that they needed to show up. That's the reality of what we try to do at that time. The Hispanic Bar Association now has a prominence in the community and has played a tremendous role for people in our community across the board. But I'll tell you something very specific. Hispanic Bar Association came out of a dream to do immigration seminars. Anybody that understands what a notario is somebody that, a notary, or is providing immigration forms or completing immigration forms. We wanted to, with the help of the Catholic Social Services, try to bring the practitioners out into the community. And some of the largest seminars, informal seminars, were conducted through that association. Many of the practitioners that now have had 25 years or more participated in those seminars. Did you do it all, Goico? No. I was just a catalyst to allow others to shine through. I did my part and they did their part. I don't take full credit to everything, but I did, with the help of Albert, create that organization. Albert Boletta is my partner. Now, we talked about creating Goico and Bollet. I put this Georgia Corporation Division because in about 5 days, that organization, my law firm, will have 25 years of service. So I wanted to show you that it was organized, incorporated in March 11th, 1999. And we've been here, close to Buford Highway. Our first office was on Buford Highway. Now we're in North Druid Hills, very close to the Latin American Association. We haven't moved for 25 years. And if I can say something very humbly, a lot of the people that I began this firm with are still working with us, sharing with us, whether they're employees or contractors or related directly. We still have good relationship with them and continue to do so. I'm very proud of what we have accomplished, but I'm more proud of this community that continues to grow and develop tremendously. So 25 years, imagine that. I don't know if some of the people in this call are 25 years old or younger, but that also allowed me, please don't laugh, because everybody talks about podcasts. Back in the day, between 2000 and 2010, you needed to have a physical radio station. You don't need it. You may have a FM or AM, but humbly, we put together a network. I call it a network, bear with me, of 4 radio stations to cover most of the state of Georgia. And what did we do in that radio program? We opened the conversation to allow what? I was a general immigration practitioner, but this was a vehicle for us to really sense the pulse, actually see what the community was doing. With that connection, I was doing the calls from my office with a call center. The technology, I won't even tell you what the technology is because now you could do it from your phone. But for us, it was the highest technology advancements. We took the calls and whatever came through from, hey, this happened to me, I just got beat up, or I need an issue related to this. Did you handle all those calls? What I could answer, I would bring people and guests to participate. And it's impossible for you to read the little section here of one of the, of course, people go on Google and get reviews or make statements or they go through social media. You had to, this person was actually put in a statement on the newspaper saying, we would like to extend an appreciation for you for allowing us to be part of your radio program. You reached out to 357 families and they were able to address issues with the energy crisis. What does a lawyer have to do with that? Well, that was part of our journey with the Hispanic Bar Association, the radio show that I did for over 12 to 15 years. The important part, some of the people that we helped came to me after the fact. Give you a brief example. I was at Best Buy buying something. The guy looks at my credit card and says, oh, you're Goico. I said, you helped my mom 18 years ago when I was a kid. We didn't provide her phone number. We just wanted to provide the information to the community. I'm not exceptional. I just know that if God gave me some skills and I can put them to use to the community, I want to do that. And that's what we did. Podcast now dwarfs this informal connection of 4 radio stations, but back then, that's what we had. I took a little bit more time than I wanted to give you that summary, but I want to give you 4 examples, 4 lessons that I've learned along the way. I have many more, but these are key things for me. Number 1, choose your people wisely. Take the time to choose your people wisely. First number 1, your partner. My wife, now this year, 25 years, I'm married to her, has been, I'm a lucky man. I am a lucky man. The best decision that she made, and she informed me that she made, and I accepted, and thank God that I accepted. Choose your people wisely. She's a lawyer. She works for Atlanta Legal Aid, helping people that are disabled. Is that important? Very important. Same core beliefs, trying to do the best, but at the end of the day, I know she has my back. She has for more than 25 years. Business partner. Albert Boled has been with me 27, maybe 28 years. And I can tell you this, and this may seem basic for you. I can leave $1 on the table, and I know that that dollar is going to be there tomorrow. And he knows the same for me. He knows he can trust me. He knows that I have his back, and I know that the same. And we've been together doing through the radio shows, the Hispanic Bar Association. I haven't done this by myself, much to the contrary. Try to choose your people wisely. Also, I put this kid on the right. That's me with my first communion. Try to look for people that have your core beliefs. In this case, Albert and myself are Catholics, and it's important for me, but it doesn't have to be religion, just so that you have good communication and that you share core beliefs moving forward. Choose your community wisely. You may not have that option, but how you can contribute to that community or not is important. The picture down here, I'll explain it to you. On the right-hand side is a lady that changed my life. Her name was Sara Gonzalez. She passed away, but she helped me understand how to work this community. She was the president of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And quite frankly, along with Maritza King, which was the founder of the Latin American Association, are the mothers of this community and really developed the business and the social aspects of this community by themselves. Unfortunately, she passed away, and this is a picture with Buena Vista Social Club. I don't know if that means anything to you guys, but the Buena Vista, sorry, Ferrer is the guy with the red coat. If you know anything about Singer, is that? And there's also Omara, which is also a fantastic singer, and Cachao, which is on the left-hand side, is a bass player as well. Many moons ago, but that is our community. I'm Dominican, they're Cuban, but I consider that part of my community. That's one lesson. Choose your people wisely. Number 2, 6-1. You have heard this before, but this is my take on it. You have 2 hemispheres, 2 eyes, and 2 ears. Use them before you use the one mouth. You have 2 hemispheres, 2 eyes, and 2 ears. Use them before you use the mouth. Really take it in. When I said at the beginning of the presentation, I prefer to observe, take in, and not talk about myself, that is truth for me. But at the end of the day, you have to use your brain and use the skills that you have. And if you're talking about, hey, I want to do this and I want to talk about maybe getting a mentor, not a separate idea, but I use it under the 6-1. Your mentor is somebody, and I'll tell you who my mentor is somebody that could give you through their experience. What most people don't realize, when you select a mentor or a mentor selects you, you should be contributing to the mentor more than the mentor contributes to you. What does that mean? Make yourself useful to that mentor. Doesn't matter if you're carrying the water for him or her, make yourself helpful, beneficial to that person. My mentor, humbly, is Larry Stein, is the guy that developed and wrote the Horn Book, employment horn book here that is used for lawyers in the state of Georgia. It does a lot of employment is some of the work that I do. People recognize me as immigration practitioner. Over the past 7 or 8 years, my immigration practice has been reduced significantly on purpose because my focus is mostly now corporate and employment based. 2 more lessons, and maybe I've spoken too much. Please be curious, learn, and adapt. What does that mean? The moment you're stagnant, you think you know it all, you're going to be pushed to the side. Be curious, read, understand, ask questions. Don't be shy. I made a decision to move my immigration practice or reduce it, not for any other reason. I had worked a lot of deportation cases, and I saw that the law was changing in such a way that it was really not beneficial for me to put my energy in that practice. There is many talented practitioners, and if you have the energy and the stamina, go at it. I think that for me, as I made the change and to adjust, I was able to really help the growing business community and benefit from them, and they benefit from me, given my knowledge and skill set. So be ready to change. Choose your people, as I said before, choose your people. 6-1, and be curious, adapt, and learn. Last one. If you don't get anything from this conversation, get this. Give, 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 give. Don't get tired of giving. Doesn't matter who you give, give. If you're unhappy with your return, adjust what you're giving. Let me make that clear. There is a direct correlation between giving and what you get back. What does that mean? Doesn't matter. You just put it into the ether of the world, it'll come back. With no expectation, it will come back. We gave, through the Latino Law Student Association, we put ourselves into the map, directly or indirectly. The Hispanic Bar Association it's here. It will continue. Visión Legal was the name of the radio program. And I'll give you an example here. Why is this even important for me? Why, give and, oh, that's funny. That makes no sense to me. One day I had a person go to, that person was in a production line, and she was complaining that her lawyer was not resolving the problem for that person. The person on the line was a radio listener, actually went also to Catholic Mission in Dorabel when it was there, and said, you got the wrong person. You need my friend, the lawyer Goico. This is a large organization. That contributing, I had no business of even creating a relationship. That person, for whatever reasons, was touched by her line person to reach out to Goico. And that person is one of my largest clients, has been over the past 20 years. And if you've ever eaten a tortilla in the Southeast in a Mexican restaurant, that organization has something to do. CNN decided, and I did that for about 6 years, that they didn't have a language speaking attorney, but when CNN Español was developing. Did that develop after CNN regular? Yes. ESPN and also CNN had or have Spanish-based program. When President Clinton was found in the unfortunate position that he had engaged in some type of activity with Monica Lewinsky, they felt the need that they needed somebody to explain in Spanish what was happening. And so they put me in a room and they asked me questions, and somebody that sounded like, oye, chico, yo no sé lo que dice Goico, pero vamos a dejar lo que él habla ahí en la televisión a ver qué nos dice. And that opened up an opportunity for me for several years, to be the voice for CNN Español. What does a corporate immigration lawyer know about anything? I had the ability to talk based on my education and preparation. I'm nothing exceptional. I just know that I needed to be prepared, learn, and adapt, and take it to the next level. That was me with black hair talking in CNN. That's what it is. I became the president of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. This guy here on the picture is Governor Barnes, who was heavily involved. There's a ton of Hispanic individuals now heavily involved with politics, heavily involved with even Pedro Marin now, who is retiring after 20-odd years of serving in Congress here. I was involved with the Chamber of Commerce, and I had the privilege to be the president of that organization, actually for a period of the 1 year to serve. Also, I was heavily involved with scholarship funds. The person in this picture was Teodoro Maus. Teodoro Maus with the Consul General of Mexico, and he created and gave me the opportunity to lead his scholarship fund back in the day. He used his own money to help Mexican students to be able to fund their education. A tremendous individual who I owe a lot of knowledge, how he dealt with his community, how he interacted with his community. When the Olympics were coming in and they left, and there was a lot of turmoil about what do we do with this labor? They came in to build the stadiums. We need to get rid of them. One of the individuals in the meeting, I was there, says to Teodoro Mas, these individuals are doing construction. They're taking away our construction jobs. And, who knows what kind of preparation they have or not. It says, who are you talking about? The masons that come from Mexico? Yes, yeah, we don't know what kind of skill set that they have. So he looked at them. I was there in the meeting. He said, yeah, what do you think about the pyramids? Are they not still there? So that put an end to that question about what he was thinking. Very quickly, given my experiences, I've had the tremendous opportunity to really work with leaders in this community, business community, from manufacturers in the food industry, tortillas and other things, individuals that sell and distribute produce, food distribution. Again, if you've eaten produce, if you've eaten in a Mexican restaurant, if you've eaten at a Hispanic store, humbly, our firm had something to do with that. And that is not because of me. It's because these business leaders have given me and trusted in me and given my firm the opportunity to participate in their journey. And I am tremendously humbled every day that I'm given that opportunity. Good people, hardworking people that are trying to do their best and grow. And whomever tells you that our community is not a strong supporter of this economy does not understand what Latinos have become throughout this country as well. I don't know if this helps you anyway in any way. These are some of my thoughts. These are some of my journey, some of the elements in here. And if any of this resonates with you, then fantastic. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with you today. Maybe I spoke too much, but those are my two cents. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. If anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute and ask, or you can type them in the chat and then I'll just ask them to Mr. Goico. But while we allow students to ask, I do have a question for you. So
Yes.
what made you decide to start your own firm instead of like joining a larger firm?
What a tremendous question. It's a two-part question. When I was graduating, Spanish was not a big thing. People didn't understand the benefit of having a Spanish-speaking attorney. And so I struggled getting a job. I found a job with Bloomer International as an individual that had came from a large firm, created a small firm with an international focus, and an individual called Timon Marshall, who spoke 3 different languages. And he said, yes, it makes perfect sense. When I worked with them for 4 years, gave me that opportunity, I realized that the market was exploding. You had the Olympics, you got other things that had come. And so a leap of faith, believing in myself that I could do it with the help of my partner, Albert Bollet. We just took the plunge and made it happen. And it is scary when you do it, but it's also very rewarding. And yes, you got to monitor your pennies and nickels, making sure you can pay the rent. But I could control my hours and could control the income. I won't tell you a fairy tale. It's challenging at the beginning, but I knew that I could deliver. I could deliver. I had the skill set to do that. I don't know if that helps you or not, but
No, that does. Thank you so much. I was just wondering, but I'm assuming like you saw that there was a demographic, and I appreciate everything that you're doing right now within the community because I know you're helping, especially I know you mentioned the Latin American Association and things along those natures, and I'm really appreciative to the work that you're doing because your work and the people you're working with has helped like my family, and I genuinely appreciate that.
Give you another example. One of the workers that I was doing when I was in the first firm, I was given an opportunity to review a contract, and I'm gonna glamorize this story, but it so happened that the contract was reviewed by King and Spalding, and they wanted to do a little meeting, and I went to the meeting, and they said, "Okay, sir, we'll await your head partner, your senior partner, so that we can review the document." I said, "Well, no, that's I reviewed the document. It's me. So you can talk to me about it." Does that being arrogant? No, I was naive enough not to understand the hierarchy. And so nobody told me no, right? There is a story about if you don't tell the person that they can't do it, they're going to do it. There's an element to that as well. I felt that, wow, if these guys think that somebody else did it and it was good enough for them to comment on it, well, guess what? Show me the horse, I'm going to ride it.
Mr. Goico, I wanted to echo what Sophie said. Thank you so much for what you've done, and thank you so much for presenting today. It's been very, you're a role model for all of us here on this call, and you know,
I
I
appreciate
want
it.
my quick question was, kind of funny, nothing really related to. I had the same question as Sophie, but I was wondering if you had a favorite book or a book that really resonated with you.
A book that resonates with me is not a novel. It has to do with the power of persuasion. I'm a social psychologist at heart, and understanding why people make decisions. I think it's called the power of persuasion,
Yeah.
and why people make decisions is fascinating to me. Not about negotiating things. Well, oh, a book that changed your life. As sadly as that may sound, I'm fascinated on why people are able to make the decisions that they make and what motivates them. I'll give you an example in that book. There's an example about signing up on anything, and it talked about a school election, and the young man, actually it was a young lady, was putting a ballot together, and she was asking people to make a commitment to vote for her. That commitment, written commitment, which explained politics for us in different ways, when you make a commitment to a given candidate, to a given position, you actually manifest that position in writing or verbally. You're stuck with it. It's so hard for people to pull back from that. And so at heart, I'm a social psychologist or scientist. I didn't study that, but to me, that is fascinating.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great answer. In a way, I'm also very interested in how people think and things like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I definitely resonate with that. It's very interesting and very applicable to many, many careers.
yes,
Many, many careers.
yes.
I do have one question if no one else has another question.
Sure.
Were you ever discouraged from pursuing like a law career? Because like I know it does take a lot of time and it is a lot of money. So, and like what if you were discouraged, what made you to decide to keep going?
As I mentioned to you, my father told me, be whatever you want to be, but don't be a lawyer. Um, have I been discouraged? It's expensive and it takes some time. Yes, it's not the path for everybody. It really is not. There has to be a fire in you to do this job. And I'm not talking about you need to be crazy into it, but the dedication, like if you're a physician and different other things, it has to be there. Was I ever discouraged in following this? Let's say that if I was in law school, let me answer the question truthfully. I could not step back because if I didn't graduate, all of my education and what I needed to do thereafter helped me get my green card. So once I was in this exercise, I had a tremendous motivation. I was able to get the funding through the school and other things that I did, but you have to want this. If that is not in you, there's a lot of things that you can do tangentially. Even there's people that graduate from law school and never practice and teach or do other things. But discouraged on this issue of the cost, it can happen. And there are many people that started in law school and didn't end it. For me, once I wasn't through Buffalo and did that paralegal work, I was stuck with this decision, and gratefully it carried me through. More of it is when you begin, because you start at the lower end, so you're getting the work that other senior lawyers don't want to do. And of course, this is great for your experience. So that can also be challenging as you begin the practice. And don't be lured into because there's a huge amount of money. If you're in a small practice, you gotta work it every single day. You got to find the client, you had to do good work, you got to send the bill, you got to collect, and guess what? Do it again the next day with the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much for that answer.
Okay.
Does anyone have any other questions?
Hi, yes, I have a question. Muchas gracias para presentar, señor Goico. We really appreciate you coming out and share your story. It's very inspiring, very motivating. The question I have is, you came to the U.S. as an international student,
Yes, sir.
and I know that a lot of people, they struggle with even hearing about such a program or figuring out the first step. So how did you figure out your first step or figure out heard about such a program?
You mean for the universities?
Yes.
Remember that the information is so much easier to gather and evaluate now than it was back then. Back then, I had to go into a library, talk to different people, even to get the basic information of a given university per se. But if the question is how somehow I put it all together as an international student to come through, I want to tell you that there is a magic formula. I will tell you that all the credit goes to my grandmother, Dinora, that says, whatever you do, education, education. And that was engraved in my brain. And again, if you only have one person that gives you unconditional love, it could be somebody's mother or aunt or whatever, your father, maybe an uncle, maybe the neighbor that is just, takes a appreciation of you as a young person. That's your rocket fuel. And if you put it into your brain and put it into motion, the information now is much more available than it was back then. Guess what? For many of you, the phone is a necessity. When I went through Cornell, I know that sounds like I went uphill both ways and there was snow and I only had to, all of these factors that older people would say, but I would have to get a bucket of quarters to put it in the payphone so I could call home. So all of the things that are available to you, I would say, research and information, take advantage of that. And something that resonates with you, practice it, experience it, be curious, learn. If it's not, then change, adapt, and be willing to change. Oh, I'm already a year into this. If you're willing to change, then you'll find your path. I have no doubt in that in my mind.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you to you guys as well.
Gracias, licenciado.
Que la pasen bien, dama.
Hasta luego.
Anything else, guys?
If no one has any other questions, I think this is a good time to end the meeting. But I just want to thank you again for coming here and speaking with us. Your story has been really interesting to hear, and kind of your motivation and how you've been supporting the community. And we really appreciate you taking your time to talk about your story and everything. And we hope to see you on television soon as well.
I'll leave you with this thought. Many of the people in this call are family members or young individuals with the expectation, the uncertainty, and the desire to continue to grow. Take this opportunity to venture into the next step of your life. Now almost 55. I would never want to go back to being 23, 24, or 25. But I can remember that burning desire to continue to push forth. Search for that. Search for your mission. Do your best to follow your dreams. Thank you for your attention today.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.